Hi guys, today I wanted to do a quick book review for The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Adia. I'm probably saying that name incorrect, but I finished this book last night and I just figured I would do a quick review for it, let you guys know how I felt about the book, and yeah. So this book released on May 12th of 2015, so it is a new release book. I did read it within 2 days, so like I said, I started it on, well, Goodreads says I started on the 27th and finished on the 28th, so I guess a day. But yeah, I picked this up on a whim. I didn't know anything about it, just saw the cover and thought it looked pretty, so I picked it up. And let's talk about the book itself for a second. So this is the cover, the dust jacket. And we can take that off. And this is the book here. The inside of it is so pretty, and the design on the book. And then each chapter starts with these here. And it's just so pretty. And what I like about this book is that it laid flat, and I said this in my last video, because I was reading it at the time, and it just made it so much easier to read the book, because the entire thing just kind of is very easy. And I'll admit, I don't like hardcover books because I find that they're really hard to read. They won't, like, they always want to close back up, right? But this one was just, I loved it. I didn't want to finish it because the book felt so good to read just by whatever is in the spine and stuff, and maybe I'm just weird. But anyways, so for those of you who don't know what The Wrath and the Dawn is about, it is about a girl whose name is Shahrazad. I think that's how you say it. She goes by Shazzy in the book, and she volunteers to marry this tyrant of a king that this city has. And the reason why everybody hates this king is because this king takes a new bride every day, and by the dawn of the next morning, the bride is murdered or killed with a silk cord around her neck, and nobody understands why, and he's never explained it to anybody, and not even Shazzy knows why. And Shazzy volunteers to marry the king because her best friend was actually killed by the king in a previous marriage, so she has volunteered to marry him to seek revenge on the king. She wants to kill him and make him feel how she thinks that the brides have felt, and yeah, so that's what this book is about. I'm not going to say much more about what the book is about because I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, but it is a very good book. I did like the story. I did only end up giving the book a 3.5. Now I'll explain why. So first of all, this does take place in sort of like an Arabic type world, and it's beautiful. Like, the way that the author wrote this story is absolutely beautiful. Very rich words and very descriptive words, and it felt like you were right there, right down to how she explained the food. Very aromatic and rich, and it was like you could just smell the food that they were eating, and everything was just very detailed and beautiful, and the characters were beautiful, and I loved the main character Shazzy, and I loved her handmaiden Despina, and the relationships that develop in the book, and everything is just so beautifully written. But because it takes place in an Arabic world, there is a lot of things that are explained in the book that I didn't understand. I felt like I had to constantly keep looking things up. I downloaded an app for pronunciation, so I knew I was saying the names and the things in the books right. And I downloaded a dictionary app as well so that I could look up certain Arabic words or things in the book so that I could understand what I was reading and not skipping over words. Now, the best thing about the book is, let me just get to it. There is a glossary in the back of the book, and this was really helpful to be able to go back and see the words, because these are all the Arabic words that were used in the book, and she explains what they mean, and who they relate to, and that was really helpful in the book. Even with that though, I still felt like there was a bunch of stuff I was missing in the book itself that I just wasn't understanding because I'm not from that culture. I don't know anybody from that culture, and I did look it up through the dictionary app, and I just felt like that was kind of a downer for me. Not really the book's fault, but yeah. Also, there was a lot of stuff that was kind of left out that they didn't really explain. Like, they would say something in the book, or something was being searched for in the book, but it never actually got found out as to why people were looking for this, or why people wanted this information. And I just felt like the last chapter of this book just didn't make any sense to me. I read this beautiful book all the way through to the last chapter, and then I was confused. Like, we ended on a very confusing note, and I wasn't sure what had happened. And I went back and I read the last 2 chapters maybe 3 times, and I didn't understand. And see, my mom actually read this with me. It was a buddy read. She read it first, and then I read it, and then we talked about it, and she was confused as well about the last chapter. So I don't know if maybe we missed something in the book, but yeah, I don't know. I was really confused at the end, and I do plan on reading the next one. The book was beautiful, the story was beautiful, and I do want to continue with it, and I'm hoping that the next one will answer any of the questions that I had with this one. But what sucks about it is I have to wait until 2016 when she releases the next book. But yeah, I mean, it was a good book. If you haven't read it, I highly suggest you pick it up and give it a read. It was a beautiful story. I loved the characters in it. I just have so many questions, and they weren't answered in this book, and there's nothing that I can do about it until the next one, and that's just kind of a letdown and sort of disappointing. And just like the synopsis says, she does end up falling in love with the king. His name is Khalid, and so yeah, that's my review on The Wrath and the Dawn. If you've read it, let me know what you thought, and if not, I suggest you go and pick it up. Give it a try, and let me know what you think. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.